and welcome to my show, Good Vibrations. I'm Lady Phyllis, and I'm a medium. I was thinking about the name Good Vibrations. I talked with my kids about different names. They, of course, didn't relate to good vibrations like I do, but I think about vibrations. Vibrations happen all around us. We're always feeling vibrations. And I think when you become a medium, and I became a medium 3 years ago, I learned how to be a medium. I took courses. I learned about elevating my vibration. So there's a lot of things that you can do to elevate your vibration. One of the things that I learned to do was to align my chakras. So the chakras are an imaginary group of wheels that kind of align with your organs and nerve clusters. And there are 114 uh, wheels or chakras in a body, but we're only going to concern ourselves with the 7 that run down your spine. So before I do a reading, and I didn't even realize that that's how I found that that was what I discovered worked for me. I pace my house a little bit and I just concentrate on all the different colors. And of course, it's the colors of the rainbow. And I think about where that chakra is, and I try to get it to run in tandem so that I concentrate on getting them all to run at the same vibration or the same way. Because if they're wobbly, sometimes you're a little bit off center. That's when you have a little bit of pain or you have fogginess or you feel distracted. So I concentrate on getting them all to run the right way or in tandem with each other. And once I pull that together, I set an intention, and the intention is to bring comfort and healing and peace to somebody. And then I sit down and I contact the person, I open up my Zoom, and I do the reading. So, what would happen if every day, if you're inclined that you want to see if you can start to hear, see, or feel things, what would happen if you tried to align your chakras? Picture them, go look it up on YouTube, go look up the main chakras where they are, picture them, and then concentrate on aligning them and see if that makes you feel better, if you feel pulled together or focused. And then set an intention. Let's say you're missing your mom. Let's say your mom is on the other side. Set an intention and ask for a sign. Ask to hear your mom. Now, one of the things I learned is that spirit speaks to me through my inner voice. And I didn't realize it until I was told to read a word like this, mediumship. I read the word. And then the teacher told me, say it in your head, read it in your head without saying it, without using your vocal cords. And that's what I did. And when I realized that was my inner voice, I realized it didn't sound like me. It certainly didn't have my accent. It sounded really elegant or whatever, but it wasn't like my voice. And that's when I started listening and realizing that that inner voice speaks to me all the time. So I would ask you, listen to your inner voice. And if you're buying a dress and you miss your mom and you wish she was there to kind of tell you you look great in that dress, and all of a sudden you hear her say, the color's wrong inside your head, maybe that is your mom giving you a message. And that's exactly what happened to me when I was buying a dress for my son's wedding. I missed my mom and I picked up a dress and I listened for that voice. And sure enough, that voice said, that's not the dress for you. This one is. And you know what? I felt that my mother was there. But I'm ready to take a caller. Lisa in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. That would be great.
Hi,
Let's bring her on. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Is it morning or night there?
It's morning here,
Well, good morning to you. So,
very early.
Lisa, I wrote a book. Well, I'm getting ready for dinner pretty soon. I wrote a book called 366 Affirmations and Inspirations to Live By. So I would ask you to pick a number 1 to 366. And I use this book in all of my readings. I usually close my readings with this book. I ask the sitter to pick a page and let's see if there's a message to you from someone on the other side. Okay, so do you want to pick a number?
I do. I've got two numbers, but they've all
Sure.
got the same letters. It's either 11 or 111.
Okay, well, let's start with 11, which happens to be
Okay.
um, one of my kids, this is the page, and I've memorized a couple of pages in the book. This is one because one of my kids always picks this number. No matter what time it
Okay.
is, what day it is, she picks this number. And it's my body is
Same.
beautiful no matter its size or its shape. My body is beautiful no matter its size or its shape. So what I want to ask you is, um, I feel like there's a female on the other side, and it feels like mom or an aunt. It feels like it's in, I feel spirit in certain generational, like, so it feels like it's in that generation. And she's telling you, when you look in the mirror, don't listen to other people. Don't take on their criticism. You're beautiful the way you are. Stop finding fault. Stop trying to be something you're not. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, yes, it does, yes.
Yeah. So,
Not the
however,
person, my mum's still alive, so but
you're
the
not, your
message
mom's
does.
still alive, but is there a
Mhm.
godmother or an aunt?
I do have aunts on the other side. I wasn't extremely close to them when they were alive, but I do have aunties on the other side, yes.
Well, it feels when I
I
feel
never really
spirit.
knew them that well.
But you know what? That's who's coming through. They're in this space of like
Okay.
with the generation where your mom would be. And you may not have been close with
Mhm.
them here, but they sort of do watch over you on the other side. I am picking up an MA name like Mary, Margaret, Megan. So I don't know if that matches anyone in that group, or if you have a Mary, Margaret, Megan living or who's on the other side. Do you?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, no. But there very well could be probably when I hang up.
Two in the usually happens for me 2 in the morning. The
Yeah.
other thing I would say is I'm picking up an S name like Sally, Sarah, or it could be an ES name like Estelle, one of those, but it's definitely an S sound. I'm hearing that the heavy S's. So I don't know if there's an S sound on either side.
Um, because I didn't really know both sides of my parents from their aunt, because their families lived in a different state and I didn't really see them or know them very well. So I can't answer that straight away, but I will be checking.
Yeah, well, you have to ask your siblings, call your mom, ask her. And one of the
Yeah.
things that I suggested this last week, I wrote a record on Google Documents. I did a record of the entire family of everyone I knew, and then I asked all my cousins, I asked my aunts, whoever was still here. I asked them to write a story about everybody that I could name. And we put it in a
Mhm.
document for everybody to share. So you may want to do that because this is what happens sometimes when we do a reading. People don't know their nan's name or they don't know what their grandfather did for a living. So it's
Mm.
important. The next page, 111, is I'm doing the work that's
Mhm.
good for me. So I want to say, now this, I don't know if grandma's on the other side, but this feels like a generation further back. And she's saying, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. That whatever you're working on for yourself right now, and it could be
Mhm.
that you're doing shadow work. It could be that you're doing self-improvement work. It could be that you're examining yourself and thinking about, what direction you're going to go in. Whatever you're doing, they approve. And I do feel, Lisa, that there's been some sort of a change. Like, in other words, that you were doing something one way and there's been a great change that you're now like, I don't know if you've moved on, but I feel like you're going in a different direction. Does that make sense to you?
It certainly does, yes. Um, Sort of semi separating maybe from my partner of 6.5 years,
Hmm.
with query of whether or not he has strayed, cheated. Perhaps my interpretation of cheating is different to his interpretation of cheating. So yeah, and some mistreatment after my son passed away for the last few years. I just don't think he's quite capable of being able to offer support, and he just comes through very empty and quiet on, to not there for me in many ways, and I'm not quite sure why. Whether he's unable to do that from trauma from his childhood, perhaps, or whether or not he's just disconnecting because there could be somebody else or other people.
Well,
So I've done a lot of
what you're
work
being
around this
told,
house, and when you said
right?
moving on, yeah, I have packed some of my things, and they're still packed, but then I'm still putting work into the garden, which is what you were saying with the 111. Keep doing what you're doing. I find that therapeutic, so I'm sort of putting into the place that I'm living in, but then the other half of me is saying, if he's cheated, I'm going to be leaving. Do I keep putting it in here to be therapeutic work, or do
Okay,
you know that?
Lisa, I
Yeah.
want to say, Lisa,
Hmm.
excuse me. What I want to say is this reinforces that if you've had a punch to your kind of self-confidence, that first page you picked tells you you're perfect the way you are. You don't need to live up to the standards of another person. And it follows by just you're doing the right thing. Before we hang up, I want to ask you if there's a Christopher, because I'm hearing Christopher now. So is there a Christopher around your son?
No, I never knew a Christopher. No, no.
Okay, well, just keep those names and think about them. I'm sorry for your loss and thanks for sharing, but keep
Thank
doing
you.
what you're doing. You're on the right track.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye bye. So you see, even something vague, you could fit it in. In other words, you're getting messages. We get messages all the time. And even when she described what was going on, it fit what was ever was going on in her life. So I believe that we have messages being dropped all the time. We just have to learn to look for them. So remember to keep your eyes open, your ears open, and for watch for the messages. And it could be a relative that you weren't even close with, somebody who came in and out of your life, but just understand that Um, they're watching over you from the other side. So if you're interested in a reading, head over to my website, www.ladyphyllis.com. I do have a special going on, so look it up on Facebook or on TikTok and get the special, or you can write me at ladyphyllismedium@gmail.com and set up a Zoom call. I also have a Patreon where I bring in experts to talk about all things spiritual. We have a class going on right now for angels and demons, which is interesting. And don't forget, I have a gallery that meets once a month if you want to take a chance in a group and maybe get picked for a reading.